more to toast, I'm afraid. My name's Tom Lindstrom. I am the proud father of this. And I would definitely like to welcome everyone here to St. Louis. My condolences to all the Cardinal fans, but you got to jump on the Cub bandwagon. On behalf of my wife Julie and Rick and Mariana Gandolfo, we sincerely welcome and thank everyone for attending. At last count, we had 12 states and Canada represented here tonight. I think that's quite a tribute to the strength of the love and friendship of family ties that Matt and Jenna have with everyone. So thank you all again. I also want to thank Rick for bringing up such a wonderful son. Did a fantastic job. You should be proud, and I know you are. And I'd like to thank Rick and Mariana both for their help and assistance in putting this all together. We have a lot of stuff going on, and we couldn't have done it without you. Thank you so much for participating in that. Jenna, let's see, what do I say about Jenna? Jenna, she was a good baby. I'll just start at the beginning. She was a great baby, easy to take care of, always smiling, not cranky or anything. She's just a good kid. And then as she grew up, she continued that path. And when she got to be in like third grade, well, we knew early on that she was just very bright and tall. When she got to third grade, they gave some tests in school for the gifted class or accelerated or whatever you want to call it. She tested well in that, so from third grade on, she was in accelerated classes, and I knew at that point, any homework that came home, I was out. So I couldn't do third grade regular math, so I turned it over to Julie, and she helped her coach her through the rest of the way. But, you know, being tall like she was always proud of it. She still is, never hunching over anything. She's got a lot of tall aunts and uncles and me. I remember as she was growing up, having the birthday parties, you know, that we would all have. The kids would all come over for slumber parties and such. And Jenna was just taller than all her little friends, but she didn't care. She was doing all right. And Julie would have games planned, like, I remember one, like, pin the tail on the donkey. A lot of you probably remember that. And you had to put the donkey up, and the little friends would go up and see how close they could get. And Jenna's tail was always up in the sky. So, no, you gotta bring it down a little bit. She never won that game. Yeah. But as things went on, we knew that Jenna was not only academically gifted, but we enjoyed watching her play volleyball, involved in basketball, got into playing the clarinet, and also the fine arts. She was also an artist. We have a lot of drawings and pictures she's made. But we enjoyed going to see her in a lot of different musicals and plays that she would be in throughout junior high and especially high school. One of those being The Sound of Music, where, if you recall, all the nuns were in the Abbey, and it was Sister Mother Teresa, no, that's wrong, Mother Superior. And Jenna played one of the singing nuns, and they were all like, what are we gonna do about Maria? You know, Maria was a Spitfire, and they weren't sure she fit in very well. So the nuns came down, and it was like, how do you solve a problem like Maria? How do you hold a moonbeam in your hand? On record as being one of the tallest singing nun in any production of sound music ever. But she gave us no problems, and we're just so proud of her. And I should have brought my notes, but I didn't. I'm going to have to wing it. But, Matt, they've been together like 7 years or something like that. And it was not it didn't take long once she introduced him to us. We accepted him into the family because we just know that Jenna's good judgment that he was a good fit. We just knew it, we trusted her, and it turns out she was right and we were right to accept him in. But I want to officially tonight, even though we accepted him years ago, accept him as a son that we've never had. So welcome to the family, Matt. It's good. It's good to have a son at this age because we didn't have to go through all that diaper changing and potty training stuff. It's all done. It's good to have it. It is done, isn't it? But even though we trusted her judgment and everything, for those who don't know, I've been a police officer for 35 years. So we had to do some background checks. And I think Matt I did more background checks on him more than anyone I've ever done before in my life. But you just have to be sure. You got to double check. You trust your daughter, but you got to double check. And as of last week, I'm happy to report there are no wallets or warrants on here. But he's not running through Interpol, so all the other countries are not looking for him. And he's not on any terrorist watch list at all. So congratulations, it's good. I'm going to stop checking now. I think it's time. The only thing I can say about Matt, I gotta find something to give him a hard time about is when several years early on in their relationship, they moved up to the Quad Cities after Jenna graduated. They were up living near us, and then she was offered a job back in St. Louis. So short time she was here, she moved back to St. Louis, and we had Matt up there on our own, which was fine. It was fine. He was living in an apartment, but he was driving a Camaro, and I asked Jenna at the time, "Wasn't it a Camaro, Matt?" "Yeah." And she said that was his dream car. He'd always wanted a Camaro. And I said, "Okay, good. Everybody loves a Camaro, except in the Midwest winters. It could become kind of a problem." But he was driving his Camaro, and it wasn't too long after Jenna had already moved back. And Matt didn't know us all that well. I don't even know if I gave him my cell phone number yet. We would get a call from Jenna once in the middle of the winter, and she said, "Yeah, Matt's stuck in the median out on the expressway." And this was John Deere Road, not that those aren't familiar with it. It's a major highway through our town. Because Camaros, as everyone knows or should know, they have rear-wheel drive, and they are not good in snow or ice. They will not go anywhere. So there was one occasion where I had to get a wrecker down there and help him out. And we found out the tires, I think, needed to be replaced. And we helped him out get some tires. And then it was a few days later that he was in his apartment complex and was trying to go to work, and I think he called Jenna again, so I can't get out of my parking space. Because he was on snow and ice, and he had rear-wheel drive. Oh, I think I went up and helped push him out once or twice. But you know what? If this is the worst thing I can find about my son-in-law, I'll take it, because he's a great guy and a great fit for Jenna. So. This is supposed to be a toast. I'll wrap it up. But you've been together 7 years. Most people are on their third marriage by now. So I really think that you guys have a good shot here because, like I said, I've been doing this 35 years, and everywhere I go, relationships are broken. And every call we get on it's terrible to see. So I'm really happy to see you guys so much in love. And we know that by every time they're together, the respect that they show each other and the love and the sincerity is real. And Julie and I are a pretty good judge of character, I think, by now. But so I'm not going to offer a lot of advice, except to say that be each other's best friends, laugh as much as you can together, and live life to its fullest. If you raise your glasses for a small toast, I'll just close by saying, live long and prosper.
Hello. Okay, well, this time. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Jenna's little sister. Jenna is the most sweetest, caring person I've ever met. And at first, I wasn't so sure about Matthew. I mean, who is this man trying to steal the love from my sister? But once I gave him the chance I knew he deserved, I realized that he is the perfect match for my sister. It's hard to believe that they've been together for 7 years already, and they've already proven that their love has what it takes to withstand any sort of challenge life throws at them. That's crazy. As I was. I'm so lucky to have Jenna as a sister and now Matt as a brother. To Jenna and Matt, let's toast to love and laughter and happily ever after.
She did a great job. Love and
Hello, I am Allison. I have been Jenna's friend for a long, long time. It all started actually started a little bit before the fall of 1996 when we wound up in Mrs. Elliot's third grade class together. Which actually, if only they had waited one more year to get married, I could say I've known her for 20 years, but we'll round up, basically. So I knew Jenna growing up, but since the end of high school, we parted ways. And so throughout the duration of Jenna and Matt's relationship, I've gotten to hear about it through phone calls and emails and frequent summer visit get-togethers. But even from a distance, getting to watch these two grow more in love and watching their lives become entwined to the point that their struggles became each other's struggles and their successes became each other's successes was really beautiful. But I'm going to reflect on the before times, before Matt and Jenna were together. And I just wanted to let you know 3 of the probably the favorite things about Jenna and her character and who she's been as a person for the 20 years that I've known her, that I think will really bless your guys' relationship together and help you enjoy many years together. And the first thing, which is probably what started our friendship being so strong, is I was really drawn to Jenna's creativity. She has an amazing imagination. She has such a creative talent. She can make beautiful things out of clay, out of paper, out of words. So the duration of most of our first years of friendship, I think, we were making various arts and crafts in each other's kitchens. I'm pretty sure that our parents' ovens were used mostly for baking clay miniatures for like most of the late 90s. It just continued from there, her talents just expanding as she developed them. And we got into drama and theater a little bit in high school, and she was always ready and raring to take on all sorts of roles, including the leading title roles of Julius Caesar and Hamlet in our home video Shakespeare productions, which do still exist. I gotta get those to you guys, because those are really memorable, like the bed-sheet togas and running around in the park chasing each other with swords. And yeah. So yes, your creativity, your imagination, you're such a lively person to be around. There's never a dull moment. The second thing that I really love about Jenna is her tenacious spirit. She's very competitive. I'm terrified to play her in sports. Yeah, Matt too. But also in every aspect of life, when a challenge comes her way, she just grabs it full on. And I've seen her work through a lot of physical and emotional challenges, the physical pain that you've been in the past with your knee. You brush it off, and you never take a day off. You just keep doing your best. And it's a beautiful thing to see. It's really inspiring. And the final thing that I love about Jenna is her absolute genuine spirit. There's no wondering about what Jenna's really thinking. Her emotions just bubble out of her all the time, and it's really great. I think that she's such a kindred spirit to so many people in this room. If you've known Jenna, you have an immediate, deep, profound connection, and you can immediately trust her and open up to her. And I cherish that so much. these past 20 years. And sometimes it gets pretty funny. We get really emotional together about silly things. I remember being over at Todd and Julie's house watching The Notebook, and we were crying and trying to talk to them on the phone to order McDonald's. And we're like, I don't know, we want the French fries. It's so beautiful. But she's just such a genuine person that it's so easy to be your true self with. And I admire that so much from her, and I look forward to watching you guys be each other's true companions from here forward, as you have been for the past 7 years too. But I remember the first time I started hearing about Matt, which was over the phone. We were in undergrad, and she was calling me up and like, oh, I've been talking to this guy. And the thing that really struck me about her and Matt in the beginning of their relationship was that she would tell me about the long conversations that they would have, the meaningful conversations that they would have, that they really got to know each other's souls in the very beginning of their friendship. And so I knew from early on that you guys would be good, and it would be a beautiful thing. So here's to 20 more years, well, many more even. That's just like many scores more years. At least. So here's to Matt.
Okay, so I thought I would start off by telling everyone how I'm going to go about doing this. So I'm going to tell a couple stories about Matthew, a couple stories about Jenna, and then connect them together with stories. So I'll start off with my brother. Sadly, I'll start off with my brother. Matthew's and I relationship was always really weird because I was the youngest and he was the oldest. So part of him wanted to love me, but another part of him wanted to kill me. To kind of prove this, I sometimes sleepwalk. This is one of my favorite stories, so enjoy. So one night I was sleepwalking, and I walked down the stairs, and then I walked back up, and at our house, if you took a right, you went into my room. If you took a left, you went into Matthew's room. So instead of me taking a right into my room, I took a left into Matthew's room. Opened the door, lifted up his Lego covers. He was in high school at this point. And I lifted up the covers and I said, scoot over. And Matthew, being asleep, and me, being asleep, he just rolled over. And then I laid in bed next to him. Woke up the next morning so confused beyond all belief. When I tell this story, people thought I was drinking. I was like 9. It's not possible. And we woke up just looking at each other like, what happened? Like so confused, like nothing even went on. And so that's the lovable part of the relationship. Another story, Matthew worked at Legoland. And surprise, surprise. And so one day he was working and he told me, he's like, Mark, I work today at 2. And I was like, okay, cool. So I went to school and I actually came home sick that day. And I went to the room and I saw him still sleeping. It was like 10 o'clock. He worked at like 2. And so I went in and changed all the clocks in my bedroom to say 3 o'clock. And so I changed every single one of them. And I came home and I was like, hey Matt, I'm home from school. Aren't you supposed to be at work? And he got up and was like, what? Looked at all the clocks in the room and was like, no! And like jumped out of bed, ran to the bathroom, started showering really quickly, and I was sitting in my room laughing so hard. Like I was peeing myself laughing so hard. After he got out of the shower, he was like sprinting out trying to get all of his clothes on and his name tag. And I was like, Matthew, can you stop for a second, like take a deep breath? And he's like, no, I'm gonna be late for work. I gotta go. I'm like an hour late. It takes me like 20 minutes to get there. And like talking really fast, like he was on cocaine. And so I was like, Matt, just breathe and sit down. And he's like, no. I'm like, Matt, it's only 10 o'clock. And he's like, what? And I was like, I'm not feeling good, so I came home from school. And he's like, I hate you. Here's some knuckles. That was a good one. So, I mean, it's like a love-hate relationship, but he's always been an amazing big brother, one of I mean, one of two amazing big brothers. I can't really make Michael feel bad. But he's always been an amazing big brother with anything I need, whether that helping me build a fort in the front lawn, like last week, so, no, just, helping me build a fort in the front lawn, or advice, or, you know, when I was a little one, he used to use me to pick up girls. Yeah, he got Jenna without my help, so it's pretty good. Yeah, I'm a boss. Yeah. But he's always been a great big brother, and how we knew that Jenna was right for him was we were at, this is going to be the Jenna story now. We were at a family party. This was, mind you, Jenna's first time meeting most of the uncles that are at this table right here, and aunts, who could be kind of interesting sometimes. I'm just saying. To show how interesting our family is, one of my uncles, who shall not be named, you know who you are, introduced himself to Jenna as Uncle Muhammad. It's not his name at all. I'm just saying. And so, but how we knew Jenna was going to be welcomed into our family and accepted was she was helping out with moving like dishes outside for eating. And Jenna, being just so helpful, wanting to do everything, she's taking this dish out, and she goes to take it outside and doesn't realize that the screen door is closed, and just runs into the screen door, and everyone was watching. And I'll be honest, we were all first checked to make sure she was okay, and then after she was okay, we just laughed. And it's been one of our most treasured memories of Jenna, because it just shows how much she's like okay with our family. Because our family can be kind of harsh sometimes. I'm gonna be honest. I'm honest. We can be kind of harsh. But she was perfect. She ran into the screen door and laughed herself. And you know, she accepted all of the stories that were going to be coming later at like her wedding. See what I mean about harsh families? Yeah. Anyways, sorry, I still have a PowerPoint presentation to do. But no, Jenna, we knew that Jenna and Matt were going to be perfect for each other, and we knew that she was, you know, she actually married Matt, so I mean, we knew she knew what she was getting herself into, and she knew the family she was getting herself into. But Jenna and Matt together are great. I mean, you see them walking around and they make each other so joyful. Always a smile on their faces, even when they're angry at each other. Matthew's somewhere smiling. Jenna's always smiling, even if it's like a... There's a smile in there. But they're always happy and joyful. And you know, I just can't wait to spend the rest of your guys' marriage with you and with our family and with Jenna's family. I hope I'll be invited to occasions. I won't give a toast, I promise. So if everyone could please raise your glass to the happy couple, Matt and Jenna, for many, many more years together.
Good evening, everyone. First off, thanks for coming out. Glad you guys are enjoying everything. We made it around every table. So if we didn't say hi to you, you weren't there. So I spent a lot of time researching because I've never been a groom before. I've never had to give a speech before, and I had no idea what to say. So I spent probably about 4 hours searching the internet for what to say. I found some really, really cool things. None of them had to do with writing a speech, but they're really cool. Then I started actually getting down to it. And I wrote this beautiful, long speech. Jenna approved it. Everything was good. Then my phone died. So I don't have a speech. But don't worry. As many of you know, I am really good at ad-libbing and going off the cuff. Sorry, Jenna. This has not been bride approved. So the first thing I want to do is thank Todd. Bride of the father. Father of the bride. Test. Okay. I swear I have not had anything to drink yet. There goes. So I want to thank Todd. You have been an inspiration to me, Todd. My dad has been an amazing person in my life. But for the last 7 years, I've been here in St. Louis, and they've been out in California or Cleveland, and it's been very difficult to make it out there consistently, Dad. And you guys have always been there for me. Todd, you and Julie have also been there for me. You've been a second family this whole time. For the last 7 years, I felt like whenever I'm not with my family back at home, I have a family here in the Midwest. And I always felt blessed to be with you guys. And now I can finally call you Mom and Dad. Had a rough start. Now we're going. Okay. So the next thing I want to thank is Mark. We're ready to go. There you are. Thank you, Mark, for being my best man. I want to thank you for always being there for me. I know that sometimes I may have picked on you, sometimes being every day, but I'm really glad that you've turned into the man that you are today. You are the best man. And I want to thank you for all those stories that you told and the ones you didn't tell. I also want to say, ladies, Trisha, Allison, Kelsey, you all look amazing tonight. You guys are wonderful. You guys kept a calm, cool, collected head all day today, and you helped my wife. God, I love the sound of that. My wife. You helped my wife keep a calm, cool, collected head and enjoy the day instead of stressing. I want to thank you, all three of you, for doing that. Give it up for them, guys. I know that I'm going to forget some people, so instead I'm just going to do a sweep. We have, like we heard earlier, people from 12 different states here. That's incredible. Everybody came here to see us. Oh, and Canada. I'm sorry, and a whole other country. America's top half. So, thank you for traveling all the way out here to visit us. We know that for some of you it was difficult. We know for some of you it was easy. We know for some of you you just had to walk here. Thank you for making the trip. We know that it was hard, we know that it was fun, we know that it was interesting. But we're glad that you made it. And then finally, the person I want to thank most is Jenna. She has always been there for me from day one. She has always been there to support me no matter what I do, no matter how crazy it may seem, no matter how far-fetched an idea it is. Like dropping out of school and restarting from scratch. She always supported me. She always knew that whatever I wanted to do, I could do it. And she made sure that I stuck to it. She's tenacious, she's wonderful, she's intelligent. Todd, Julie, you guys can argue about where she gets that from later. But she has always been there for me. She's the light of my life. She is my love. She is my everything. And I want to give my everything back to you forever. I love you.